Moldova is heading to Vienna this year with Satoshi and Viva Moldova. But will Viva Moldova be living long in our memories with this entry? That was terrible. Let's review Eurovision. So Moldova are off to Vienna this year. Were they there last year? No, they were here yet. There's
No,
been a
they
year.
skipped last year. They skipped last
Yeah,
year.
I thought they did. Yeah. So after a gap last year, I think with their kind of finances and how they fund going to Eurovision, they're back this year with Satoshi and Viva Moldova. It's an interesting one. Jack, what do you make of it?
Yeah, the whole, oh, we've not got enough money to bother participating last year has turned into the single biggest stage and a national final that Moldova has ever put on. Something is afoot there, but that's
They
not
were
the
just saving
review.
up. They were saving up. They
Yeah,
needed a year to
sure.
save up.
I think there's some dollar being found somewhere under somebody's cushion being funded by some country. Anyway, we are back with Moldova. Moldova is very good at wacky. Not necessarily wacky in the form of baby lasagna, but there's a quirkiness about a lot of Moldova's entries that is quite endearing. And we've seen a lot that they can do quite a lot on very little. You look at Doritos, My Lucky Day in 2018, one of the best staged entries of the
So
2010s.
incredibly camp in
So
all the
camp.
right ways. So good.
The budget for that staging was, I think, 6,000 euros or something. Like they are masters of doing a lot with very, very little. Um, I actually think, weirdly, this is trying too hard. I think it's trying to play into the wackiness, and we talked about it in our Greek review. Go back and watch that. It was the first one of this year. We uploaded it a few days ago. There is a they're trying to lean into that wacky genre, but it is just trying too hard. It's the lyrics are gobbledygook. It's it's really actually quite unimpressive because I think they're trying to be interesting, they're trying to be fun, and you can tell. Whereas with something like Greece, Ferto is very organically wacky, and it works because there's a whole character, there's a personality around it. There is no personality in this song. I don't think there's nothing to grasp onto. So I'm actually quite disappointed with it, and I think it's very not typically Moldovan. Not that I'm against countries sending things that are very unlike them, but I think this is it's kind of nationalistic for the sake of it, and it is just trying a bit too hard. So I'm not that impressed with it. I'm a bit disappointed. It's nice to have them back, but yeah, it's not for me really.
Interesting. So yeah, I like my kind of first impression of it was just like this is very odd. And I know what you mean about the kind of like gobbledygook lyrics. I think quite often when you get a slightly more silly song where it's sung in various different languages. I think there are like so many languages in this one that like it doesn't even list them. It's like this is a multilingual song because you're just kind of jumping between so many. And then like the main thing that's sticking in my head is like Viva Moldova and then like a reference to Mallorca. And I'm like, it's quite chaotic. I yeah, I feel like a lot of the, like, recent wacky songs have very much centered around, like, one single personality. So, obviously, you've got kind of, Achilles this year, you had Baby Lasagna, you had, Kariha. Like, this is obviously a kind of group. So and there isn't really a sense of, like, who you're meant to, like, migrate to and warm to as the kind of, like, the standout wacky person. Um, Moldova yeah, it's like the staging point, I think this is the kind of thing because it's a bit all over the place, it really needs a strong kind of, like, national identity type staging, and I think that's quite hard to do on a budget. So, it's yeah, I'm intrigued to see. I think, like, their, like, national final performance, the vocals are not great, the staging doesn't really like give you very much beyond the kind of like flag of Moldova. So I think it needs like quite a bit of finessing before it's kind of like Eurovision ready. Um, so yeah, I'm very happy to have Moldova back in the contest, but I think this, I don't think it's a like I'm not ruling it out. I just think it needs some work before it's kind of like Eurovision ready. But clearly, the organisers think it can do that because it's opening semi-final one. Um, Jack, do you think it's going through to the final? And what would you score it?
I think this is going through. Again, I wouldn't put it through. I don't think it's one of the 10 best songs, but I think it will. The televote will carry it through, and it'll finish in seventh or eighth place in the semi-final, and it will go through. To your point on the staging, I think they are going to professionalize it in some way because the national final staging is a very weird one to open a semi-final with, and you're not only opening semi-final. It's the first song of the first semi. You are opening Eurovision with it, and I think if it was leaning that nationalistic in the staging, it will be more off-putting to viewers than is, than they'd want it to be as the first song in the producer-made running order. So I think they will have toned it down and will have professionalized it to respond to what you were saying. It's not for me. I'm going to give it a 3. It is just it comes on, I skip it, and I don't really. I'm increasingly fed up with this sort of entry that's just gobbledygook. Um, yeah, I really, really don't like it. I don't think it's malicious like Espresso Macchiato is. I think that song is evil.
Malicious.
I think there is something deeply
Are
sinister
there
in just
any Eurovision
nudging.
entries that are ever malicious?
That one is. That one is. I absolutely loathe it. I think that last year's top 3 was easily the worst ever, ever. Partly because of Espresso Macchiato being in there, because I think it is an evil song. I don't think this is evil. I think it's just a bit trying too hard and a bit boring, to be honest. So yeah, it's a 3 for me.
Interesting. So I think we're going to have a bit of a division here
Oh
because
dear.
I'm going to give it a 6.5, which mainly because I think it has potential. I think it has potential to be fun and really kitsch and kind of bring that like national identity stuff to Eurovision. I think it's quite a risky choice putting it as the opener for that reason. Basically, like I can't really imagine any like Western European or even Central European country putting up an entry that was basically kind of like long live insert country and it being a kind of tongue-in-cheek entry and being the opener. I think it's basically only like somewhere like Moldova that can get away with it. Um, and I'm giving it a 6.5 because I think it could be fun and impactful when we get to the semi-finals. So it's a if it doesn't meet those expectations, I'll be very sad and I may revisit my score. But for now, that's what I'm going to give it. I think it's going through no problem because of that televote support. I think the interesting thing will be how it does with the juries, and then that will inform, I think, how it does in the final and how many of those types of entries get through alongside it. But yeah, so that's what we think of Moldova's entry, Viva Moldova, for this year. Let us know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the little bell so you get notified every time we upload new content. And we're also in vodcast form, so you can watch us on wherever you get your podcasts. But thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.